Beloved soul, before you move forward, pause for a moment and take a slow breath, because what you are about to understand is not something distant or unreachable, it is something already quietly forming within you. When you hear the words, path of hope and faith, your mind may begin to search for something outside, a sign, a direction, or a clear answer, but the truth is that this path does not begin somewhere far away, it begins exactly where you are, in this very moment, in the way you choose to see, feel, and move forward. Hope is not something that appears only when everything is perfect, it is something that exists even in uncertain moments, even when you do not have all the answers. You may have experienced times when things did not go as planned, when you felt unsure about your next step, when you questioned whether you were moving in the right direction, but even in those moments, there was something within you that did not give up completely. That quiet part of you that kept going, that believed things could improve, that chose to continue even when it was difficult, that is hope, and it has always been with you. Faith, in the same way, is not about knowing everything in advance, it is about trusting that you can move forward even without complete certainty. It is the understanding that you do not need to see the entire path to take the next step. You only need to trust what feels right in this moment. You may not always have clear answers, but you have awareness, and that awareness is enough to guide you step by step. The idea of opening this now is not about rushing or reacting quickly, it is about opening your awareness. It is about allowing yourself to truly feel what is already present within you. When you slow down and listen, you begin to notice that you are not as lost as you sometimes feel. You begin to understand that you already have a sense of direction, even if it is not fully clear yet. You may begin to notice that your thoughts are becoming more focused, that your understanding is becoming deeper, that you are starting to see things in a way that feels more aligned with who you are becoming. This is the path of hope and faith unfolding within you. It is not loud or dramatic, but it is steady and real. As you sit with this message, allow yourself to feel calm instead of rushed. There is nothing you need to chase. There is nothing that will disappear if you take a moment to understand. What matters is that you recognize what you are already feeling. Pay attention to your thoughts. Notice what feels clear. Trust that awareness. You are not at the beginning of something uncertain, you are already on a path that is guiding you forward. And as you continue to move with hope and faith, you will begin to see that each step becomes clearer, each decision becomes easier, and each moment brings you closer to a life that feels aligned with who you truly are. Beloved soul, as you continue to stay present with this message, something deeper begins to unfold within you, because what first sounded like a simple phrase is now becoming a realization that this path you are on is not something you need to search for, it is something you are already walking. The path of hope and faith is not a destination waiting somewhere in the future, it is a way of moving through your present moment with awareness, trust, and quiet strength. You may not have noticed it before, but every step you have taken, even the uncertain ones, have been guiding you here. You may begin to notice that even in your most difficult moments, there was always a small part of you that refused to give up completely. Even when things did not make sense, even when you felt unsure, you still moved forward in some way. That movement did not come from having all the answers, it came from hope. It came from that quiet belief that things could change, that things could improve, even if you could not see how. That is the power of hope, it does not require certainty, it only requires a willingness to continue. At the same time, faith has been present in ways you may not have fully recognized. Faith is not about knowing exactly what will happen next, it is about trusting that you can take the next step without needing everything to be clear. There were moments when you made decisions without complete certainty, moments when you followed what felt right even if it did not make sense to others, moments when you chose to keep going instead of stopping. Those moments were guided by faith, even if you did not call it that at the time. Now, as you reflect on your journey, you can begin to see how these two forces have been shaping your path. Hope kept you moving when things felt heavy, and faith allowed you to step forward even when the path was not fully visible. Together, they have brought you to a place where your awareness is stronger, your understanding is deeper, and your direction is becoming clearer. You may also begin to feel that your mindset is shifting in a subtle but important way. You are no longer focusing only on what is uncertain or unclear. You are beginning to notice what is possible. You are starting to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. This shift does not happen suddenly, it happens gradually as your awareness grows. And once it begins, it continues to guide you forward. At the same time, there is a growing sense of calm within you. You are not as easily overwhelmed as before. You are beginning to understand that you do not need to have everything figured out immediately. You only need to take the next step with clarity. This understanding removes pressure and allows you to move forward in a steady and confident way. You may also notice that you are becoming more connected to yourself. You are paying more attention to your thoughts, your feelings, and your instincts. You are beginning to trust your own understanding instead of constantly looking for answers outside of yourself. This connection is what strengthens your path, because when you trust yourself, you move with confidence instead of hesitation. As you sit with this part of the message, notice how everything feels more grounded and real. That feeling is important. It means you are not reacting to something temporary, you are understanding something lasting. You are beginning to see that the path of hope and faith is not something separate from you, it is something you are already living. Stay present with this awareness. Trust what you are beginning to understand. The message is not asking you to become something new, it is helping you recognize what has always been within you. And as you continue to move forward with hope and faith, you will begin to see that your path becomes clearer, your steps become more confident, and your journey becomes something you can truly trust. Beloved soul, as you move deeper into this message, you may begin to feel that what once seemed like a simple idea is now becoming something you can truly recognize in your own life, because the path of hope and faith is not something you are trying to find anymore, it is something you are beginning to understand. There are moments in life when everything you have been experiencing starts to make sense, when your thoughts begin to settle, when your direction starts to feel clearer, and this is one of those moments where your awareness is aligning with your journey in a way that feels real. You may begin to notice that your perspective has changed in ways that you did not fully realize before. Situations that once felt confusing now feel easier to understand. You are no longer reacting with the same level of doubt. Instead, you are observing, reflecting, and responding with more clarity. This change is not something that happens suddenly, it is the result of everything you have been through. Every experience, every challenge, every time you chose to keep moving forward has strengthened your awareness. And now that awareness is guiding you more clearly than before. The meaning of hope becomes deeper here. It is not just about believing that things will get better, it is about recognizing that you have already been moving forward even when things were not perfect. It is about understanding that progress does not always look the way you expect it to, but it is still happening. You may have felt like you were standing still at times, but in reality, you were learning, growing, and preparing for this moment where your understanding becomes clearer. Faith also becomes something more real and grounded. It is no longer something abstract or distant, it is something you can feel in the way you trust yourself. You are beginning to understand that you do not need to see the entire path to take the next step. You only need to trust what feels right in this moment. This trust allows you to move forward without needing constant reassurance. It gives you the confidence to act, even when everything is not fully certain. You may also begin to notice that your focus is shifting. You are less distracted by things that do not matter. You are more aware of what aligns with your growth. You are beginning to invest your energy in things that feel meaningful instead of things that feel familiar. This shift is important because it shows that you are becoming more aligned with your path. And when you are aligned with your path, your journey becomes clearer. At the same time, there is a growing sense of calm within you. You are no longer feeling rushed or pressured. You are beginning to understand that you do not need to have everything figured out immediately. You only need to take the next step with clarity. This understanding removes unnecessary stress and allows you to move forward in a steady and confident way. You may also begin to feel a quiet confidence building within you. It is not loud or overwhelming, but it is stable. It is the feeling that you can trust yourself, that you can make decisions without needing everything to be perfect, that you can handle what comes next even if it is not fully known yet. This confidence is what allows you to continue moving forward without hesitation. As this part settles within you, recognize that you are no longer searching for a path, you are already walking it. The message you are receiving is not something separate from you, it is a reflection of what you are already beginning to understand. And as you continue to stay present with that understanding, you will begin to see that what once felt uncertain is now becoming something you can trust, something that can guide you forward with clarity, confidence, and peace. Beloved soul, as this message reaches its final depth, everything that once felt like a simple idea now becomes something deeply real and steady within you, because you are no longer just hearing the words, you are understanding them. The path of hope and faith is no longer something you are trying to figure out, it is something you are beginning to recognize in your own life. You have already been walking this path, even in moments when you felt uncertain, even in times when you questioned your direction, and even when you felt like you did not have all the answers. There is a quiet sense of completion here, not of your journey, but of a phase where you were searching for something outside of yourself. You have moved through moments of doubt, through times when you felt unsure, through situations where you questioned whether you were moving in the right direction. But all of those experiences have brought you to this point, where your awareness is strong enough to guide you from within. You are no longer dependent on constant reassurance. You are beginning to trust your own understanding, and that trust is what changes everything. You may now feel a calm certainty within yourself. It is not loud or overwhelming, but it is steady and real. It is the feeling that you already know what aligns with you. You already understand what needs to change. You already recognize what direction feels right. This clarity did not appear suddenly, it was built over time through everything you have experienced. That is why it feels stable now. That is why it feels real. The meaning of hope and faith now becomes simple. It is not about waiting for something to happen, it is about continuing to move forward, with trust in yourself. Hope is the quiet belief that you can keep going, even when things are not perfect. Faith is the trust that each step you take will lead you where you need to be, even if you cannot see the full path yet. Together, they create a way of moving through life that is steady, grounded, and aligned with who you are becoming. You may also notice that your fear of uncertainty is beginning to fade. You are no longer waiting for everything to be clear before you take action. You understand that you can take the next step even if everything is not fully known. This trust in yourself is what allows you to move forward. It removes hesitation and replaces it with quiet confidence. As you move forward from this point, remember that you do not need to rush or force anything. Real progress happens when you act with clarity, not when you act with pressure. Stay present with yourself. Continue to notice what feels right. Continue to trust the awareness you have developed. Each step you take will make the next step clearer. As this message closes, let it leave you with a sense of calm strength. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not without direction. You are already on a path that is guiding you forward, step by step, in a way that feels natural and aligned. And as you continue to move with hope and faith, you will begin to see that what once felt uncertain is now becoming something you can trust, something that leads you forward with clarity, confidence, and peace. Backhand index pointing right comment, I walk with hope and faith, if this resonates. Thumbs up, like and subscribe for more messages like this.